Are you on? Are you on? Hello? Yeah, you're on. Hello, my little filmer dudes. My name is Ivan Montero, and thank you for joining me in my journey to watch every movie ever created. Not really, but we tried last year. I wanted to see way more movies than I actually did see last year, but you should commend me. You should commend me. I did end up watching 53, I think, let me check. 53 movies, 2024 movies in the last year. How many movies total? Including rewatches, and just new ones that I watched. 100. Nope, 99. Probably maybe a little less, who knows? I think I did less movies on a technicality last year overall. Especially overall, because there was only just a handful of new movies. But we're here to talk about my favorite ones. And honestly, this is more like a top 10 favorite movies of 2024, because best is very subjective, especially when it comes to movies, because I have not seen like the plethora amount. Not like other people like Zach Pope or Austin Burke, where they watch like a ton of movies. I'm the TV dude. I'm not the movie dude. I'm the TV guy. So you want to know about a TV show, you come to me, all right? But when it comes to movies, you can also come to me. I'll give you my opinion, but I'm just saying, I love musicals. I'm throwing that out there. So we're just gonna start with our honorable mentions, movies that I think that were really good, that I enjoyed, that totally deserve to be at least mentioned. And here's the thing, I've not seen movies like The Brutalist, Conclave, Anora. There's a reason why my list is the list that it is, because I've not seen a lot of those bigger movies. And I only have this one in out of respect. Deadpool and Wolverine. And I enjoyed this movie to a degree, but I also think that this movie is not great. But again, out of respect, I give it an honorable mention because it is only one of 2 movies to have made the $1 billion club in 2024 this year. So with the second one being Inside Out 2. That's kind of impressive for modern day times, I suppose. This should have worked, but it didn't, because the writing was just not there. Plus, I will never forgive them for what they did to my girl Cassandra Nova. I just hate that this is the introduction that everybody gets for Cassandra Nova, because Cassandra Nova is so much cooler than this. She's so much more badass than this. She's so much more evil than this. I'm upset. It makes me angry every time. But again, out of respect, it's an honorable mention at the very least. Then we have Carry On, one of the most recent ones that I watched. I thought this one is a classic action thriller. It takes place in an airport, and I absolutely love airports as somebody who used to travel a lot more than I do now. I thought this was excellent. I'm a Jason Bateman fan. I'm a Taron Egerton fan. A lot to look at while looking at a lot. And then we have Piece by Piece, super fun, super inspiring, and a super smart move to make a documentary in the form of Lego, so that way kids can also watch and be informed. I thought this was great. Then we have If, a movie that I feel is completely underrated. I don't know why, but this kind of just fell under the radar for a few people, but I could not recommend this movie more. The score is whimsical because it's Michael Giacchino, the greatest composer to ever live. And finally, last honorable mention is Sonic the Hedgehog. The number 3. I had a lot of fun with this movie. I understand it's not great, but I absolutely loved it. I bet you this is how Super Mario Bros. People felt watching the Super Mario Bros. Movie, because that movie, it's not a good movie. It's not a good movie. I'm sorry, but it's not. It's a fun time, but a fun time does not equal a good time. But I understand you now. I love this. I was just having a good grand old time. Oh my goodness, it was good. Sonic has drip. I'm obsessed. And now the best movies of 2024. And there's gonna be more or less spoilers, I suppose. In our number 10 spot, we have A Quiet Place Day 1. I gotta say, I really like this one. I found it fascinating, just interesting that the lead character in a horror movie, Lupita Nyong'o's character, had a terminal illness to begin with. So honestly, she shouldn't have wanted to care as much as she did. She should have been like, well, frick it. I guess this is it. And yes, this is a slight spoiler to those who somehow haven't seen it, but they should have put it in the trailers to temper people's expectations, because I saw that people were complaining about that aspect. I was like, you missed the point. You missed the point. The idea is that Samira, even for something as simple as, I don't know, a slice of pie or listening to a song for another time, even something as simple as that, there's always something worth fighting worth living for. And I found this story to be absolutely beautiful, especially with Joseph Quinn's character, because he was now struggling with his new reality where that he found himself in completely and utterly alone with absolutely nobody. He had nobody to live for. And it was beautiful that at the very end, it turns out that he was living for her. He can now tell her story, and it's just, she's gonna live forever in the minds of these survivors. It's so good. I loved it. I liked it. Coming in number 9 is Transformers 1. Over Deadpool and Wolverine? Yes, shut up. Transformers 1 did for me what Michael Bates did not for everyone, and they could never. Humans and Transformers don't seem to work, though I did like Rise of the Beasts. I thought that was incredible. So I really was excited for a new Transformers movie, but when I heard that new Transformers movie in development was gonna be an animated movie, that was gonna be an origin story, I was like, what? What's going on? I was a little nervous. The resulting project is so much fun. Honestly, if you're a fan of Bionicles, and ooh, I'm showing my age, if you're a fan of Bionicles, then you're gonna get hit in the nostalgic feels real hard, but it's gonna feel so good. Double hit if you've grown up with Bionicles and Transformers. I swear whoever made this movie also watched Bionicles 2, Legends of Metro Nui as a kid, because the groundworks, the blueprints, it's all right there, and I'm not complaining. If it works, it works, and I now get to talk to you guys about Bionicle, because I never get to talk about Bionicle, and now we're talking about Bionicle in a Transformers 1 review. And I'm just excited because the new generation, they're getting their very own origin stories that they can grow up with, that will introduce them to these franchises that we all grew up with. I just think that's great. With TMNT, Mutant Mayhem, and now Transformers 1, what's next? Hopefully that Power Rangers reboot that everyone keeps tossing around. Because then I got to talk about Power Rangers. Oh my god, it was a good year for nerds, and it's a good year coming up for nerds. I ain't good. As you can tell, this is a nerds list. Coming in number 8 is A Complete Unknown, and honestly, I will say when I first watched this movie, I wasn't sure about it. I wasn't sure, and I was literally because Bob Dylan is an ass. And saying in the movie, I don't know why you're like that, you're just a mystery. It really is lazy. His backstory is public knowledge. I don't know what it is, but apparently it's public knowledge. So part of me feels like they should have included a little bit. Yes, I understand that this is a bit unconventional on purpose, but we needed a little bit more to him, I think. For me personally, for me to put this any higher, and I still think that this movie is really good because I honestly love folk, but I just needed to have that personal connection with Bob Dylan for me to keep on rooting for Bob Dylan, because I kept rooting for Elle Fanning's character Sylvie and honestly for John Baez way more than I was rooting for Bob Dylan. Although whenever Bob Dylan played that sweet folk, oh man, my opinion changed. I was back on board and I said, play for me, Bob, play for me. Oh my goodness, I am a modern folk guy, even a vintage folk guy. No spoilies, but at the end, the final concert, I was right there. I was right there with the crowd, and when I realized, oh, this is genius, because it literally replicated that experience that it's showing with an audience. I was actually angry, and I thought that was incredible. The fact that the movie, James Mangold, was able to replicate, to recreate, not just a moment, but an experience. And I have to give it to them. That's the whole point. I'm like, you know what, Bob Dylan? You do you. You do you. Don't do you. Just do you. Coming in at number 7 is Mean Girls 2024. Again, over Deadpool and Wolverine. I did preface, I like musicals, so shut up. And as you'll see, another musical is on this list. And many of you might think I'm crazy for even putting this on my list, but it is my list. Not only is this movie completely hilarious, so freaking funny, but super smart in so many creative areas. For one, the inclusion of social media, cementing it as this generation's Mean Girls 2024, I think was a brilliant move. Because listen, the Mean Girls 2000 2004. That was made for the people of that time, my generation and a little bit older. It's very that generational. And this movie, 2024, it was made for this generation. And I showed this movie to quite a few people of various different ages just to see, and the data was fascinating. We are correct. It is a generational ordeal that's happening with these reviews. People who grew up with the other one, they don't necessarily understand. I love this. I love sociology and I love psychology, and as a meta commentary for this movie for real life, I think it's great. I had a great time, and not just that, I think that movie is an awesome time. I'm obsessed with that music. Yes, the pacing was a little fast and it seems a little streamy, like a streaming movie, which is fine. This movie was supposed to be just a streaming movie, but then hey, things got delayed. Things opened up. Paramount said, we'll take that spot, please. And I'm glad they did, because I saw it in movie theaters and I had a wonderful time. I love it. Coming in at number 6 is Inside Out 2. Honestly, the real question is, which Inside Out do I like better, 1 or 2? And honestly, I feel like the answer might be Inside Out 1, just because of Michael Giacchino's presence, or rather his lack of presence, was felt throughout Inside Out 2. The music was still good, but it didn't have that personal charm. Whenever it's a Michael Giacchino score, I can always tell. And I heard that first bits and I was like, oh, this isn't him. And I was right. So just for that fact, I think I might lean towards Inside Out 1. But the reason why I love this franchise so much, I grew up with Toy Story. That's what I grew up with. I should be a Toy Story guy, but I'm not. I actually only like Toy Story 2. I think they should have ended with Toy Story 2. But Inside Out and Inside Out 2 keep on making some more. I think they're making Inside Out 3. I don't really know, but oh my God. Between this and Dream Productions, it's amazing. This franchise is wonderful. I related with Riley, even as like a teenager, watching it as a teenager, I could relate with her as a child. And then now, as an adult who is just now discovering that he is riddled with anxiety, watching this movie it spoke to me. It was amazing. This movie is almost a masterpiece, and there's a few issues I have with the movie. Primarily, why didn't any of Riley's friends give her a hug during her anxiety attack? Missed opportunity, I feel, and of course no Michael Giacchino, as I keep on saying. Regardless, this movie really is just phenomenal. I've seen it twice. I think it's wonderful. And it's the second movie to make $1 billion in movie theaters this year. Gotta give it to him. And coming in number 5 is Dune Part 2. And I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of flack for putting this at my number 5 spot. You see, I absolutely love this movie. I just think as a writer, there's more that could have been done, because the problem is with Dune Part 2 is that you feel like you're chewing a lot. It's not like you're biting off a lot. It's just a lot of flavor, just a ton of flavor. But you're starting to be like, is this too much? Is this just a little bit too much? And it is. I love the spectacles, I love the VFX, and I love that we're literally immersed in this world of Dune, and that is thanks to the glorious directing and writing of Denis Villeneuve. Like, he did not work on Dune Prophecy, and you can absolutely tell. Give this man the keys to any franchise is what I'm saying. I'm just saying that Florence Pugh's characters, her family, they should have been in Dune Part 1. There's no reason why they couldn't have been in Dune Part 1, and I kind of feel like that could have sped up the pacing a little bit in Dune Part 1, because there was not a lot going on in Dune Part 1, so that in Dune Part 2, we could just get right to the action. And I think that would have also allowed for Dune Part 2 to breathe just a little bit, because we need that breathing room. Not saying it's bad, I'm saying it's incredible. I think it's one of the best sci-fi franchises of all time. And if you're not in Dune, like, there's only 2 movies, please get on board. You do not want to miss out on this party. It is a fun time. I'm just saying, I think there could have been a little bit more. I still need to watch it a second time though, so maybe on second watch, I'll put it a little bit higher. But for now, it's just a number 5. Coming in at number 4 is The Wild Robot. Listen, I am actually a DreamWorks guy. I love both Pixar and DreamWorks, don't get me wrong. We have the likes of Kit Connor, Lupita Nyong'o, Pedro Pascal. That man is in everything. But I honestly love me a good DreamWorks animation project, man. Oh goodness, they're so good, except the bad ones. There are a few bad ones. And The Wild Robot, I believe, is their best film to date. Visually, it got better from Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is also amazing. And that one actually might be better film maybe. Putting the gorgeous artwork aside, because this is the artwork is art. It's art is what it is. On a writing level, on an acting level, on just the story itself, it 100% deserves recognition in the Golden Globes, the Oscars, the Emmys. And it's gonna be tough because I also think that Inside Out 2 deserves to be recognized. But for me, The Wild Robot, I think takes it because the story is just insanely touching. It's not just that, I think it's all thanks to Lupita Nyong'o, a second time appearing on this list, mind you, doing an outstanding job at being a robot with emotions. Sure, the pacing is just a little off in certain times, but I was pretty much engaged throughout the entire movie. From the beginning it started to the end, and like it tugged on my heart, man. I really did try to hold it together. It's about sacrifice, it's about community, it's about doing what you need to for your child, for the one you love. It is gorgeous masterpiece is what it is. And the movie ends on a fantastic note. Like, they don't need to make a second one, but they are. I'm not gonna be there. I'm gonna watch all of them. If they make a third one, I'm gonna be like, okay, cool. I don't care, make more. I love it. Coming in at number 3 is Challengers. That's 2 for Lupita Nyong'o, 2 for Timothée Chalamet, and now 2 for Zendaya. And boy, does Zendaya deserve it. I truly think that this movie cements her as an actor. She is criminally underrated, but to see Zendaya command her 2 little white boys around throughout the entire movie was mesmerizing. Truly, this movie is a triple-hander with Zendaya, Mike Feist, Josh O'Connor, blonde Mike Feist. This movie could not have worked if it were anyone else. The sexual charge is electrifying. The Chiro scene. I'm flustered every time. So I don't want to talk, I can't talk about it without getting demonetized, but woo, man. Churros. And I know everyone is obsessed with Josh O'Connor, but blonde Mike Feist, come on. And to top it off, the tennis theme, sure, the tennis ball camera was a little ridiculous just because they would have had top spin, so that ball should have been spinning. That's just a nitpick as a tennis player, but as a filmmaker, I thought that was incredible. The fact that they put them on glass and was able to film, oh my goodness, this movie is so freaking good. I watched it twice as well this year, and I watch it again over and over and over. It is such a good movie. And my number 2 is Wicked Part 1, and this came so close to being my number 1. Every time I listen to the soundtrack, I'm like, maybe it is my number 1, maybe it is my favorite. But then I think about my actual number 1, and I'm like, well, it's that one's special to me. That one's special, and we'll talk about it in a second here. But the movie does have some issues, some that are kind of glaring to me, but mainly it's in the character development between Elphaba and Galinda. And plus, the overall pacing in the movie is a little fast, but hey, for a 2-hour, 45-minute movie, I guess that's not that big of a complaint. But seeing the deleted scenes trickle out on the internet, I become more and more upset. I'm like, why? Why were you not in the movie? You should have been in the movie. And I could definitely think of some scenes that I totally would have taken out to replace with those scenes. And that would have, because to me, it's sure we want to have some commentary, but you know, the point was there. The point was given. I think I could have omitted some things and had more room for their friendship. No spoilers, but come on, if you've not seen the movie, that's on you at this point. I'm a Wicked virgin, so I don't know anything about Wicked Part 2 or the Broadway musical. I've never seen it. I haven't even heard the music. I've only heard Defying Gravity and Popular like maybe a couple days before the movie, so I can know what it was. And I was like, oh, these songs are those songs that everyone keeps referring to. And when you know, Populars, you know, start playing, or when she starts saying the lines, I was like, oh my God, it's happening. And then, you know, the whole, Elfie, why did you go flying off the handle? And I was like, it's happening again. It's good. The thing is going on. And it was such a fun time. I had a really good time. I watched it twice. I've cried twice. And there's 3 parts in the movie that just gets me. The first time is during The Wizard and I, like at the very end. Defying Gravity, of course, and the Oz Dust Ball. Oh my God, when she stepped onto those stairs and started descending and people were just laughing, it got me. And there's one shot in that whole thing that I just want to screen grab and print on a fine paper, just slap it on my wall. It's just a gorgeous shot. And it's the shot where Elphaba, she grabs her hat, she puts it on her face, and all you can see is a single glint from her eye. And I thought that was a powerful image. And oh my gosh, the whole thing is incredible. The story of Elphaba is one that I didn't think would be this relatable, this touching, especially for people who have dreams, who want to do the best that they can, and just different circumstances put them down. And so I think this story is multifaceted because of that, because it has its original story, its original message, and then that message can be taken and be applied to different people with different areas in life. And I just think that is wonderful. I will listen to the music and sometimes cry if I'm singing along to it, because it's just so freaking good, man. Again, I don't know anything about like Wicked for Good or what's gonna happen. Some things were spoiled on Reels, and I don't have TikTok, but I don't like to talk, but on Instagram Reels, because the internet is just not sacred with spoilers. Super stupid. So like I had to mute anything Wicked because I don't need to know ahead of time. I don't. I'm already gonna watch it. I'm gonna go have a good time. I would have loved to have not known the things that were spoiled to me, but it's fine. I have my theories based on other things that happen, and I don't really want to go. I don't want to tell you my theories because I don't want you guys to be like, yeah, that's correct, or no, that's wrong, because none of you guys are sacred either. So I'm not gonna tell you anything. But I talked to my friend, and my friend was like, you're actually on the right track. And I'm just so excited to figure out where I'm at in the theory guessing. I'm speechless. It's that good. Again, the writing in the songs, the way they foreshadow so many things, it's just spectacular. Sure, the movie could have been directed visually a little bit better, but I like it. I like the movie. But one thing that my friend and I are saying is that perhaps because they're writing new songs for the second part, then maybe that might mean we could get like Wicked for Good might actually be the second half of the Broadway play, plus a semi-accurate adaptation of The Wizard of Oz, the original book, because the original movie is not accurate at all. It has already set up so many false things about The Wizard of Oz, and because of that movie, in the conservative crowd, everyone's like, it's Wicked is changing the original movie. No, the original movie changed the original book. Read. What a great time. Ariana Grande Butera as Glinda, perfect casting. She is Glinda. She is so freaking funny, and it's just proven in the deleted scenes how she just goes with it. And finally, my number one movie of 2024, Sing Sing. I think it was part of the AMC Unseen. I was pretty excited because it was already on my list to watch. I was blown away. 6 times I cried in this movie, and all of them were heartbreaking, except the final time was a happy cry. You do end happy, but Sing Sing is about a guy who is imprisoned in the correctional facility in Sing Sing, New York, or rather the Sing Sing facility in New York. And he was falsely placed in prison, and what he did or why he was placed there, that's not the point. The point is that he was falsely placed there, and now he has to cope. So what does he do? He starts an art therapy group via theater, via acting with a lot of these inmates. And it's through these inmates that we see how effective art therapy is. And I'm a theater guy, so I absolutely love this. Of course I'm gonna love it. But what was more heartbreaking was watching this guy go through the system and watching how the system is just completely unfair to him, and how he is continually here just trying his best, trying his hardest to have hope, but not just for himself, but for other people. And the movie, I think, was saying that no matter the situation, no matter how hard things can get, everyone, absolutely everybody, is deserving of hope. The movie wasn't necessarily saying a second chance, because you can be given second chances and then you could be shat on. That's just the system. And there's a wonderful scene, and I think I have that in my review. I'm not gonna spoil it, but the movie really does a good job in saying that it's the system. To me, it's heartbreaking whenever Coleman Domingo's character, and he did a fantastic job. Coleman Domingo, I think, deserves the awards this season. That's what a performance. And this was a passion project that he did himself. And the fact that Sing Sing, what those inmates were people that were part of the original Sing Sing program, and then now they're out to do the movie. Wow, just literally wow. It is a wonderful movie, but you just see the injustice that this guy goes through over and over and over again, and he breaks, and it's just heartbreaking because his speech is something that at the very least artists are going to relate with, because it's you do feel sometimes trapped in your situations and the system is not fair. It is a beautiful movie through and through. I think it was undeservedly snubbed from the Golden Globes. I think that is insanity. That is criminal. So I hope it gets Oscar recognitions. I hope it gets Emmy recognitions. It's so unfair. But Sing Sing is my #1 favorite movie of 2024. That was it. That was my list. Let me know what your list is down in the comments below. My sushi media links are in the description below, and I will see you next time. Be on the lookout for more of my end of the year videos throughout the month of January. And goodbye. You've just been modified.